In 2025, over 4.7 billion people are expected to take to the skies, the highest number in aviation history according to IATA. But here's the kicker. Most travelers have no idea what's about to hit them. From facial scans at every gate to new ID laws that could leave you grounded, 2025 is rewriting the rule book on how we fly, check in, and even pack. So don't blink because one missed update could ruin your next trip before it even begins. Let's dive into it. Number 1. Real ID requirement for domestic flights. This change will be implemented from May 7, 2025. U.S. travelers must carry real ID compliant identification, or a passport, for all domestic flights. Originally planned in 2008 and repeatedly delayed, this mandate enforces stricter ID standards at TSA checkpoints. If you lack a real ID driver's license or state ID with the official star marking, airlines will not let you board without another approved ID. Getting a real ID typically requires an in-person DMV visit with proof of identity, birth certificate, social security card, etc., and residency documents. States often issue real IDs by appointment, so plan ahead. After May 2025, your license must bear the DHS star. Otherwise, you'll need to use a passport or another acceptable ID to fly. Missing this requirement could ground your travel, so verify your ID early to avoid disruptions. Number 2. Touchless biometric screening expands. Airports are rapidly adopting biometric security systems to streamline passenger processing. The TSA's latest ID check units, CAT-2, are deployed at nearly 84 U.S. airports and will expand to all 400 federalized airports over time. Major airlines also use this tech. Delta and United already let TSA pre-check travelers verify identity and drop bags via facial scans, and American Airlines will follow suit. These systems enable passengers to pass through security and boarding gates without flashing paper documents. For example, at Atlanta or JFK, you might simply look at a kiosk and it matches your face to your passport. Industry groups like IATA are even creating a single One ID token, so a traveler's face could replace passports and boarding passes across borders. Participation is voluntary and privacy protected. You can opt out and use the normal checks. But by 2025, expect facial scans to be the norm at many major airports. If you are finding these updates helpful, then do not forget to like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. Number 3. NextGen security lanes. By 2025, U.S. airports will deploy new automated screening lanes, ASLs, with 3D CT X-ray scanners. These machines create rotating 3D images of carry-on baggage, letting TSA officers inspect contents more thoroughly without unpacking. The practical benefit is speed. Laptops, liquids, snacks, and gadgets can stay in your bag. Just place the whole bag in the scanner bin. Yet threats are detected more reliably. TSA began installing CT-based lanes in 2024 and plans to equip all large U.S. airports by next year. Internationally, similar 3D scanning systems are rolling out in Europe and Asia. In short, once CT scanners are widespread, travelers will face shorter lines, fewer pat-downs, and won't need to remove electronics or clear liquids at most checkpoints. Number 4. InFlight Starlink broadband. High-speed satellite internet is coming to the skies. In early 2025, United Airlines will launch its first commercial flights offering SpaceX Starlink Wi-Fi on board. The FAA approved Starlink on United's regional jets, allowing connection speeds around 200 Mbps, roughly 50 times faster than typical in-flight Wi-Fi. United plans to install Starlink on 40 planes per month, covering all 300 of its regional jets by year-end, and eventually equipping its long-haul fleet as well. The service will be free for Mileage Plus members, and likely available for purchase to others. This means by 2025, passengers on many United flights can stream videos, video chat, or work online as if at home. Other airlines are expected to follow. For example, JetBlue and others are upgrading to NextGen satellite Wi-Fi, so global travelers can expect much faster, more reliable internet in flight. Number 5. FAA NOTAM system overhaul. In 2025, the FAA will replace its decades-old Notice to Airmen system with a modern cloud-based platform. NOTAMs provide pilots and airlines with crucial real-time flight information like runway closures and hazards. A major outage of the old system in January 2023 grounded U.S. departures for 2 hours, canceling 1,300 flights. In response, the FAA used an accelerated development process. By July 2025, the new NOTAM service will be ready, with full operations by September. This means flight alerts and updates will be delivered faster and more reliably. As part of broader NextGen modernization, mandated by Congress to complete key upgrades by the end of 2025, the NOTAM fix is a first step towards smarter air traffic management. For travelers, it should translate into fewer delays from outdated information and an overall safer, more efficient national airspace. Number 6. UK Electronic Travel Authorization. On January 8, 2025, the UK will require most visitors, including Americans, to obtain an electronic travel authorization before arrival. This online system, similar to Canada's ETA or the US ESTA, means visa waiver travelers must register in advance. The ETA application asks for passport and personal details and charges a £10, roughly $13 fee. Approved ETAs are valid for 2 years or until passport expiration, allowing multiple short visits of up to 6 months each. Airlines will check ETAs before boarding, so travelers should apply a few days ahead of time. In practice, the ETA is mainly an administrative step to enhance security. U.S. tourists planning trips to England, Scotland, and other parts of the U.K. must remember this new requirement to avoid boarding denials. Number 7. EUTS and Biometric Entry-Exit. In 2025, Europe rolls out new travel authorizations and biometric border checks for non-EU visitors. The long-delayed ETIS is expected to launch around mid-year. US, UK, and other visa-free travelers must complete this online authorization before entering Schengen countries. The ETIS application costs about €7, and once granted is valid for 3 years or until passport expiry for multiple short visits. Alongside ETIS, the EU will implement a new entry-exit system at airports and land borders. Under EES, passport stamps are eliminated. Instead, visitors' fingerprints and photos will be digitally collected at first entry. These upgrades aim to enhance security and track overstays. For travelers, the key changes in 2025 are applying online for ETIAS and expecting biometric scanning, fingerprint and face at EU border controls, rather than traditional stamping. Number 8. Schengen Area Expansion. Europe's visa-free zone grows on January 1, 2025. Bulgaria and Romania will become full members of the Schengen area. Until now, those countries allowed visa-free air and sea access, but required passport checks at their land borders. Full Schengen membership means no routine border controls into or out of Bulgaria and Romania by land. For international tourists, this simplifies travel. For example, you can fly into Sofia or Bucharest and then drive to Greece or Hungary without stopping at an exit stamp. U.S. visitors using Schengen visas or visa waivers now get visa-free access that truly covers 27 countries. Airlines also benefit. More direct Schengen routes will open without extra customs, improving connectivity in Eastern Europe. Number 9. China extends visa-free travel. China is greatly loosening entry rules for Western tourists. Starting in mid-2024, U.S. citizens among 54 countries can travel visa-free for up to 10 days in designated Chinese provinces. Previously, Americans only enjoyed 72-hour visa-free transit in a few cities. The new scheme expands it to 24 regions, including Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and many tourist areas. This pilot program lets you enter and leave China without a visa if your trip is under 10 days. Travelers must register or provide departure flight info with Chinese authorities in advance. For 2025, this change means Americans can more easily visit China without obtaining a visa for short stays, a big boost for tourism. Always check China's official sites for participating provinces and rules, but broadly this makes 2025 the easiest year ever to spend a brief vacation or business trip in China without a visa. Number 10. Remote baggage screening. U.S. Customs and Border Protection is piloting an international remote baggage screening system to speed up international connections in 2025. The first trial operates on American Airlines Sydney to Los Angeles flight starting April 9, 2025. Under this program, checked baggage at the departure airport, Sydney, is X-rayed and those images are securely sent to CBP officers in the U.S. before the flight lands. If no threats are flagged, passengers on connecting flights can skip the usual baggage recheck at immigration. In practice, this means arriving flyers stay in the secure transit area and collect bags at the final destination only if flagged, saving 30-plus minutes on tight layovers. CBP plans to expand this to other routes through 2025. For travelers, remote screening will make international transfers smoother, while maintaining security by having U.S. officials inspect your hold luggage before you even deplane. And number 11. Sustainable aviation fuel mandates. Green flying moves from idea to reality in 2025. New laws in Europe and the UK will require airlines to blend increasing amounts of sustainable aviation fuel into jet fuel. For example, the EU's Refuel EU rule and the UK's SAF mandate each set a floor of 2% SAF starting in 2025. These SAFs are biofuels, synthetic fuels, or other low-carbon alternatives that can cut life-cycle CO2 emissions by up to 80%. Airlines must either burn actual SAF or buy SAF credits to meet the target, so you may see higher fuel surcharges to cover costs. This is the largest decarbonization step in aviation to date. By 2025, most flights out of Europe and the UK will contain some SAF, and the trend is spreading globally. Expect other regulators like Canada and USA incentives to follow suit. In practice, travelers won't notice anything different on board, except the knowledge that a portion of their flight's fuel came from eco-friendly sources.